Hi, welcome to another proven sales letter breakdown that I'm doing for 90 days. And today we're going to take a look at a so-called lead. So this is basically the first 100 to 500 words of any sales letter. And the main job of a lead is to hook people in emotionally, to build a little bit of curiosity and desire as well. Well, actually a lot of it. And to basically just make them much more likely that they actually read the rest of the sales letter. Okay, so this one's actually by a lesser known copywriter, but still a world-class copywriter, and also my personal friend, Aharon Grundman. And it's for an Agora promotion, actually. So it was a financial promo a few years back, but I just wanted to show you the first part of it. It's basically just 2 pages because it's a great example of how not to be boring, especially the first part of a sales message. Because what a lot of people do, what a lot of copywriters, the number one mistake they do is that they start a sales letter, for example, and it's boring. It just doesn't have personality. It has tons of so-called throat clearing copy, which is basically you saying a bunch of meaningless stuff that people don't really care about, and it's like they're gonna be like, yeah, whatever, I'm out. So this is a great example of an interesting hook related to a financial product. So basically a stock picking recommendation service. Okay, so that's what the product is selling, but we're only going to look at the first 2 pages, and in word counts that's 600 words. So it's a longer lead, but it's definitely pretty cool. So the headline goes, Wall Street's couch potato wizards. So already it's like Wall Street, this has some instant credibility to it, and couch potato wizard, it's a more advanced topic, guys, and this is what John Carlton, a legendary copywriter, called incongruous juxtaposition. So in normal speak, what this means, like couch potato wizard and Wall Street's couch potato wizards, is that it's 2 very contrasting elements. So first of all, how can a guy on Wall Street who's like pictured as this guy in a suit, successful finance guy, be a couch potato? And how can a couch potato be a wizard? Okay, so it just makes you feel like, what the heck? Like Wall Street's couch potato wizard, like what is this thing about? I gotta find out. And that's what you want with a headline. So I think the headline itself does a great job at creating curiosity. And then we have a subhead as well, which says some rather startling insights on the art of turning small cap and other losses into 124% profit without really trying. So a bunch of things going on here. First of all, we have some, which is like how many actually. So it presupposes that that there's more than one, and people are going to want to find out like how many. Startling insights. This presupposes that there's a secret here. Losses so like how to turn losses into 124% profit. This is a big promise, and every headline or at least headline complex should have a promise, a unique and big promise, because otherwise, once again, people are going to be bored. So you want to like hook them emotionally immediately. And then we have without really trying, which kind of presupposes that this whole thing is easy. So especially at finance, what happens a lot is that people think that, I'm not a stockbroker or I'm not a finance guy, so probably I won't be able to do this. But this is like, hey, like you can be a couch potato, and we're just gonna give you what to do, and you do it, and you make a bunch of money. That's the promise. And I can also say it like this. I can also say like, make $124 in profit without really even trying. But that headline would be pretty weak compared to this one, compared to Wall Street's couch potato wizards. It's like, what? So that's what you want. And then as we start the message itself, it's not like, hey, welcome to reading this letter, I hope you'll enjoy it, something like that. No, because that's, as we said before, throat clearing copy. So instead we go, the day Wall Street died, 1:37 p.m. Stuttgart, Germany. A long idle fax machine in the funeral home belonging to Herr Hermann Schmidt woke to life with a start. The poker-faced Hermann Schmidt got to his feet, excused himself politely, and disappeared into the other room. He breathlessly read the fax and rubbed his hands, hardly able to contain his excitement. Yes! So, again, it's pretty different, and that's my whole point with this video, this specific episode that I'm doing, is to show you that it's a good idea to be different in your copy. It's a good idea to start with an interesting story that has some type of secret or intrigue to it or something. You want to get right in the middle of the action, okay? No beating around the bush or something. The day Wall Street died. Once again, like, what? And then, boom, you jump into the story. You set the stage for story number one. Like, there's several mini stories here, and then those mini stories connect together to the unique mechanism that's going to be explained a bit later. So we have just like a news article, and whenever you have a news value to your advertisement, that's good because people are gonna look at it like it's fresh, it has trivia or something like that. So we set the stage, and then there's a super vivid story. Like, notice how it's not like Stuttgart, Germany, a stockbroker, noticed that something's happening and he made a lot of money. No, it's like a long idle fax machine in the funeral home belonging to Herr Hermann Schmidt. Why is he a her? Why is like a funeral home? Like, why is long idle fax machine? Woke up to life with a start. Like, it's a super vivid story, and the more vivid you can paint your stories, generally, the better they're gonna do because it's the more believable. Maybe it's like some people might lose interest in this if they're not interesting. If this sort of thing is not interesting for them, because you have to remember, like, what's a fax machine, what's a long idle fax machine, what does it have to do with the funeral home? Like, Hermann Schmidt, already has like a non-American name, like Herr, which is like Mr. in German, woke to life with a start. So it's a mouthful, that's true, but it's still a super vivid story, and usually it's great to do these types of stories. And then the second part of this mini story has a lot of mystery, like what could it be? Why? What's the reason of him like saying yes when the whole promotion starts with like the day Wall Street died? Why is he cheering for this? Why is he in a funeral home? Like, what's going on here? So there's a lot of mystery, and there's a lot of so-called loops that get opened here, okay? So this is the first little mini story. Then we have another mini story, and this is like, again, setting the stage, but this one's in Philadelphia. And we have, once again, a story of someone, a vivid story of someone, getting a fax. So it's like, this whole story is kind of like something big happened in the world, and several people all throughout the world are getting these cryptic, weird fax messages. So it's like, what's so important about these? Like, this guy, for example, has a fax machine at his lawyer and by his accountant. So why is it so like important? It creates a lot of mystery. And then, instead of telling another like mini story, we have kind of like an element that ties everything together. So it's like, at the same exact moment, fax machines were ringing in Berlin, Dallas, Los Angeles, Rome, Hong Kong, and Rio. The date, October 28th, 1997, the day of the big Wall Street crash. So now we get a better idea. This is like, it's also called in medias res. So like starting the story in the middle. It's like, boom, something big happened, and you get an immediate vivid picture. And notice how a lot of movies and series also do this, like Netflix series and stuff like that. So they start in the beginning with a big battle scene. You don't understand anything, like what is happening. You just know that it's exciting, and it's like it has a bunch of curiosity. And then after this initial like 30-second, 1 minute, 2-minute part, like the story pulls back a bit and it explains like what's up with this, and then we get some more closure as to what's happening. So the big Wall Street crash. And judging by the fact that the target audience for this promotion is senior citizens who probably have more to do with investing. They might get, memories triggered by this. I don't know exactly when this promotion ran, but like, I'm sure that it's after 1997. So people might remember that day in 1997 when Wall Street crashed, and maybe they lost a lot of money. Maybe they won a lot of money. Usually people lose a lot of money because they start panicking and they start selling or something, and that's never a good sign in these times. But then it's interesting. It's really interesting. So it's not cookie cutter at all, and you want to read on to find out more. So after this, what happens is that the copywriter describes how, normally what should have happened during the crash is that people lose a bunch of money, as I said. But a select group of the most unlikely investors around the world turned on their weapon radar, flipped the safeties of the triggers, and zeroed in on the kill. 107% profit in 2 hours. So again, it's vivid, and it's like, instead of saying they made a bunch of money, you say they turned on their weapon radar, they flipped up the safeties of the triggers, and zeroed in on the kill. So it's like these people are like an elite commando unit, like a secret society, an A-team who knows something that you as the reader don't know. And in order to find out, obviously, you gotta read more, because that's the only way for you to find out what's really happening. So the first subhead after this few paragraphs is a big promise. So once again, this is a big promise, this is a big promise, and it's important to have these promises, because otherwise your copy is going to be limp. Nobody's gonna care about it if you just say, hey, get mediocre results. Nobody's gonna care about this. But it's like 107% profit in 2 hours. Wow, that's interesting. And then we get more and more details filled in for the story. So it's just like a retroactive thing, just like a good series in which you get the action, then you get some sort of introduction to what's like context, you get context, and then eventually as you go on, you get more and more things like revealed from the story. If you follow Attack on Titan, it's a great anime and manga. It's one of my favorite shows at the moment. It's really amazing. The story quality there it's top notch. It's a Japanese thing, but it's like you start kind of just like this, like a big action, like a lightning shoots down from the sky, and this giant appears at the wall and pierces the wall, and other smaller giants start coming in and eating people, and you're like, what the hell is happening here? And then basically every single episode from there on, and we're talking dozens of episodes, you find out something new all the time. You find out like, what's the secret? Like, what's that lightning strike? Like, what's with the walls? Like, why are there big walls around these settlements? Why do these giants start to eat people? And you discover more and more, and you get sucked into the story more and more and more, okay? So it's really, really engaging, and that's what people actually want to watch. And, some people say, nobody reads long copy nowadays because they like, people's attention spans are so short. And my response to that is like, really? So are you trying to say that you haven't binge watched 10 hours of Game of Thrones when it was good, in the first few seasons? Or you haven't binge watched Stranger Things or Breaking Bad or Narcos or something like this? Well, of course you did, because it's great storytelling. So why shouldn't you do the same in your own copy? You have to do great storytelling, because if you do, people are going to be sucked into this, and they're going to get hypnotized basically. And the more they read, the much higher chance that they'll actually buy something or do something that you want them to do. So it's an intriguing story. It goes, the faxes were identical and short. The message began with 2 simple words: don't panic. So we have mystery and intriguing story. The facts continued to lay out a precise military-like plan of action for the day. So this adds even more mystery. Timing and discipline were everything. There were 5 targets. No more, no less. Even more mystery. Each target was either very good or very bad, each representing a unique opportunity. There was no time to waste. The estimated window of opportunity, less than 2 hours. Targets, descriptions, and mission objectives were specified and concise. So this is like mission briefing for James Bond, let's say, or like a commando unit like the Navy SEALs, okay? It's very like to the point, it's interesting, it has that mystery and adventurousness to it, and you want to find out like, okay, so what are the targets? So these little elements here, they all add depth to the story even more. And one more other thing, this window of opportunity less than 2 hours, I think that this also preemptively anchors urgency that will happen later in the sales letter. Okay, so obviously in the longer sales letter, eventually we're going to get to the offer part, and eventually we're going, as a copywriters, we are going to try to sell something to the reader. And then it's a great thing to have urgency there. Like, I don't know, this prediction is only valid for the next week, or like something big is going to happen in a month. So if you don't get in now, you're going to miss out. And this is actually one of the most common urgency mechanisms that these types of financial promotions have. But I think it's very smart because it opens a loop and it anchors this concept of urgency to people. And it makes them want to read it even more. So then we get presented targets. So instead of saying like, hey, buy these 5 stocks, because that's what essentially it's saying, like buy these 5 stocks, okay, and then you're gonna get returns. But no, instead, everything is angled in an interesting way. It's like you are the commando unit and you have a top secret mission, and in order to execute this mission, in order to do that I don't know, high altitude halo jump from the airplane, you know, get in behind enemy lines in the base and assassinate your target, let's say. So that's what the copywriter came up with, instead of saying like, hey, buy these 5 stocks, okay? But then eventually we still get more details about 5 stocks. So we have Telebrás, a giant Brazilian telecom giant, and then we have specific things like what to do with them, okay? So this in itself is valuable, because even if people don't buy our product, they will still get, like, in those times this was probably relevant. So you know, it's value, it's valuable in itself, and people want to read it because they want to get insider tips. So after being sucked in with the story, they want to get insider tips into what to actually do when the market crashes, okay, next time maybe, or something. So, and we have various little recommendations. We have like stay alert and catch it between 80 to 90. So like if the stock price drops like 40%, then buy. But only if it drops 40%, not if it drops more or less, okay? Then the target 2 is industrial holdings warrants. And then here it's like, I don't know, buy it when it's 7.50. Or like Omega, this one. Now only buy this if the option calls, this is more of an advanced finance thing, is between 51.25 and 51.75. So again, it's very specific recommendations that people may or may not use, but it's like it showcases that the name behind this this promotion, the face of the brand, knows what he's talking about, okay? And then we have very specific instructions here, like buy at less than $9. This is a bottom fishing expedition. Traded at a discount of 200%. The fund shares were expected to climb 400% as the Asian market starts to pan out. So obviously, this is not for everyone, this type of copy. So it's definitely, the target audience is very well versed in the world of investments, and they're always looking for the next big thing, like the next big opportunity that really like with which they make $1 million or become rich or something like this. Everybody's looking for that. And unfortunately, in the super long term, you can't outplay the market, no matter what service you use or no matter how you try to like buy and sell and blah, blah, blah. It's all psychology, and eventually the market always wins. But you can also just follow the market, and that's better. But in the short term, you can make tons of money with this, with like option calls and shorting and longing and all sorts of these more advanced things, okay? But like the main reason why this is here is because it gives people value and it just sucks people in even more. And then we have a cool, after these 5 targets, it's like Group members around the globe put into action their pre-established buying mechanism, vital, more on that later. They placed precise orders starting to their brokers when to get in and when to get out. So group members, this really like highlights how we're talking about people who are kind of like a secret society. They're kind of like a wolf pack. And actually, like you see at the end of this part, it's like smartness that drove many Wall Street insiders to call these group members the assassins or the Oxford wolf pack. So it's pretty cool because it really gives you the opportunity of like something bad happened in the world. Most people lost money, but there's this wolf pack who really knows what's up. They're like a finely tuned military machine, like some special forces unit, and they actually know what to do, and obviously they want to share some of their secrets with you as well. So wouldn't you like to become one of them, one of the wolf pack? Of course you would. So that's the appeal here. And we have another open loop here by saying vital, more on that later. So like this opens the loop of you as the reader being able to discover even more stuff later on if you read. This is how the day began. This just symbolizes that there's even more to this story. And then the last paragraph just talks about some proof elements, because we have a bunch of promises here, but now we also have proof by saying that by the evening, group members sold their shares having made 107% profit. Needless to say, the group's anonymous members made a fortune, but that doesn't even begin to convey the profound wisdom and cunning behind the strategy. So we have proof that they actually made it. This presupposes that you will also be able to make a fortune. And the final part, profound wisdom and cunning behind their strategy, it teases kind of a secret mechanism. So at this point, there's tons of curiosity happening. And if you, as the reader, want to find out like what's up, you gotta read. Like that's the only solution for you. If you want to find out who this wolf pack is, what's their secret, what's the mechanism behind their secret, what happened to them after it, maybe other stuff related to like tips, useful tips regarding other companies or something like that, you gotta read on. And then from here on out, we have another subhead which says the automatic profit machine, which according to Gary Halbert triggers people's greed glands, so-called. Okay, so it's really powerful because from here on out, obviously, I think this promotion talks about how you can also gain this and that. And there's going to be even more examples of like who made how much money during crashes or something, just to like highlight the point and prove the point that we made here. So that's it, guys. Like 2 pages, but as you can see, so much is happening here. And it's no wonder why a lead is one of the hardest parts of a sales letter, because it really makes you, it really needs a lot of creativity as well from you, but it has to be really tight. It has to have curiosity. It has to have benefits. It has to be this finely tuned oiled machine, just like the wolf pack here. So kudos to the copywriter, to Aharon. This is a great example of a lead, in my opinion. And I'm sure that this promotion crushed it when it was launched. So yeah, if you like this video, guys, I have several other videos on leads. And actually, leads can change based on the topic that you want to sell, your audience, like how warm or cold they are, how familiar they are with you or your product or the thing that you're talking about. So yeah, this is kind of like a story lead, but there's other like promise leads, problem solution leads, secret leads, prediction leads as well. And I've made a bunch of videos about these things as well. You might want to check out some of my other videos from my Proven Sales Letter Breakdown series that I'm doing for 90 days. And I'm going to leave a link below this video so that you can check it out, okay? The whole playlist. And if you enjoyed the video, then just smash the like button, okay? And also subscribe to the channel, because I'm releasing these regularly. And if you enjoy them, you can get tons of copywriting gold here for free. So I definitely encourage you to subscribe and also hit that little notification icon just to be sure that you get these videos on time. So thank you so much for watching this. I'll see you in the next one.